Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to share with you my Generaider deck profile. Now, it's been a while since I basically uploaded a video to the channel when it comes to a deck list. I think January was the last time I actually uploaded my Crystal Beast. Well, if you don't know, the reason for that is because I got married, and because of that, I kind of just didn't really have the time to create content that I like to do. Not saying that it's like a bad thing, but like for people to understand the reason why I wasn't around. But still, I really enjoy making for you guys content, and I would like to come back. But of course, before we'll jump into the video itself, we're going to do the usual thing that if you want to help the channel see more videos, of course, you can basically consider subscribing to the channel. It helps a ton. It's really do. And yeah, give a like to the video if you enjoyed, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video itself. Alright, so jumping into our deck list itself, we're going to start things off with our Generaider monsters, and of course we're going to start with the Generaider monster that we got in Photon Hypernova, and that is 3 copies of Vela, Generaider, or should I say side the hero of the Generaider bosses. I don't know what that means, but point is, Vela is the new card that we got in, Photon Hypernova. Now, the reason why I'm calling her Hela is because this is supposed to be the live version of Hela, if you can see from the staff here. This is supposed to be her live version before I believe she turned into a zombie, and of course, just like any of the excellent Generaider card that we got, she's a Fire Fairy, because the Fire Fairies really help the lineup of Generators in general. Maybe we'll get next like the Thor lineup with like I don't know, Thunder Wind, but the point is, Vela is just here to replace Hela in a way, because this particular card has the effect that when it's normal or special summon, you are able to special summon a Generaider monster from your hand or graveyard, and its other effect, which is what makes this card excellent, is the fact that you can discard any other Generaider card, which is send any other Generaider card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card out of your hand. So let's say, for example, you open up with Vela and a Lapter. You can send the Lapter, special summon the Vela, and then Vela will special summon the Lapter as long as it's another copy of itself. Vela is absolutely amazing. You have to play 3 copies of her. She's just really awesome, and she just fixed many issues that the archetype kind of had. And speaking of Lapter, we are playing 3 copies of this lovely level 4 monster, which is basically our kind of one of our 2 normal summons. I wouldn't say this is the worst one of the 2 normal summons, but it's one of them. Basically, the effect of Lapter is pretty simple. This card allowing you to attribute any other Generaider monster and special summon 1 level Generaider monster, 9 Generaider monster with different names, so it can special attribute, like for example, your own Vela if you want to. But the point is that this card specifically, as a quick effect, can do that, which is really good, which can just trigger during the opponent's turn as well. So you can just tribute this or one of your tokens, or your Vela, or whatever you want to just special summon whatever you need specifically. This card is also awesome because it's also boosts your Generaider monsters by 1,000 attack and defense during the opponent's turn, which is also pretty good. But that does it for the 3 for the Generators. For the rest of the Generaider monsters, we're only playing 1-ups, and the first one is Mardell. This one just on normal special summon search a Generaider monster or Generaider card or a plant monster from your deck to your hand. Very good in plant decks, but mostly just here to just be a 1-up, to just be special summon with Lepter or any other way to just get yourself the searches that you need. And then the 3 last ones that I run are the Interruptions Generators, which are Nidhogg, Har, and Utgarda. These 3 particular cards are just here because they are the interruption generator, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, because their effect says that you either tribute 2 Generaider monsters in these cases of these 2 or their own type, which is in this card Spellcaster or Rock. In the case of Nidhogg, you only need to tribute 1, and then you use their effect to interrupt. In the case of Har, it's a negation. In the case of Utgarda, you banish a card on the field, and in the case of Nidhogg, it's just a negation of a summon. On top of that, Heart is the best one because when your opponent add a card to their hand, except during the draw phase, you are able to basically make them send a monster from their hand to the graveyard, except it's their choice. So it is a little bit of a shame that it's their choice, but regardless of that, still Heart is the best one because it's an Omni Negate, which is really good. I do think you only need to play 1 of each of these. You can play more, but I felt like one of each of these is just more than enough than what you need, because they are becoming bricks a little bit after a while, so that's why I decided to play one of each of them, and that's it. And then for the next lineup of cards we are playing the Herald package with the Diviner of Herald at 3, the 1 Trice Hierarchia, and the 1 DD Sprite. These 3 particular cards, or should I say 5 particular cards, are really helpful. The normal lineup I see is that playing these 4 cards without the Sprite, but I do think the additional lineup of Sprite is actually really good. So the entire lineup of this is pretty simple. Use Diviner to send the Hierarchia. Hierarchia will tribute the Herald. Herald will then special summon the Sprite, and then you get yourself a Baronne. Or if you get yourself Monstrosity, you can get yourself a rank 9 plus a Baronne, which is also really good, because then this card will not have to get banished. But point is, Hierarchia is really good for this particular effect, or in general with your tokens, because your tokens are fairy monsters, so you can tribute multiple of them to basically destroy a card on the field. If you tribute 2, or if you tribute 3, you get to draw 2 cards. Specifically really useful during the end phase, when your tokens are supposed to be destroyed, so you tribute them, and then you just like get your interruption or whatever you need to specifically. So I do like this card a lot. As for DD Sprite, it doesn't have to be DD Sprite, it just have to be a level 1 Fairy Tuner for the effect of Diviner, because Diviner can send from the deck or extra deck any fairy monster and then become gain level equal to its level. So in the case of Hierarchia, it will then come 11, you tribute it, and then trigger its secondary effect to summon the DD Sprite, which then, like I said, make a 10. And that does it for the lineup of fairy monsters that are supposed to support us. Then for the last lineup of cards is of course the hand traps where it comes to the monsters. 3 Ash Blossoms and 3 Nibiru. I think these are pretty standard hand traps. You can change them however you wish. If you think Ash is a little bit too predictable, you can change it. If you think Nibiru is a little bit too predictable, you can change it. But I felt really these are just the best line for success where it comes to a deck like this. And then for the spells, which is the next lineup of cards that we run, we're running 3 copies of the field spell, and then the 1 copy of terraforming. This is the only lineup of cards where it comes to the generator spells that I run. I don't run not boss quest, no raid, and no boss room, which I know that this is the small package that you're running 1 boss room, 2 raids, and the 1 boss quest to just give yourself more searches, and another way to get the field spell. But I came to the conclusion that just boss quest is not really that consistent with only 10 generator monsters. Not to mention the fact that it's also just only being used once in a game, and not always I want to use it. Secondly, raid just give my opponent an additional card, which is not really that good, and room is not always useful because I not always have enough cards in my hand to actually enact that effect. So yeah, I just felt like you'd only need to play the 3 boss stage, nothing else. There are other ways that you can get to the boss stage, so do not worry even if you don't play the raid. But yeah, I just felt like 3 boss stage and 1 terraforming is all you need when it comes to your generator spells. As for your generator boss stage, basically if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, you are able to special summon a generator monster from your deck, which can be any of your 10, and then you're able to basically, if it's during your opponent's turn, you are able to fill your fields with tokens that are destroyed during the end phase. But like I mentioned before, you can tribute them with Hierarchia to get additional effects during the end phase as well, which is also very useful. It's a very important card, but I would say not as much anymore, which is very good that the deck is not super dependent on it, but I still think you kind of need it enough to just see it. Moving on to our next lineup of cards that we're playing at 3. We're playing 3 copies of Monstrosity. Monstrosity is absolutely bonkers in this deck. You control level 9, you special summon 2 from your deck with a different type and attribute, which is insane. And you do, even if you are running majority of light, even if you target light, you can summon, for example, a Vala and a Nidhogg, or a Nidhogg and a Har, which is really strong. Secondly, you also have the ability to just special summon a level 9 monster from your hand if you just really have to. So yeah, this card is absolutely incredible. You want to run this at 3, it just helped you really much so. And then for the next card that we're running at 3, which is supposed to be Prosperity, I do run Extravagance because I don't have it as a proxy, but as a screen that should be shown, this is Prosperity, because Prosperity in a deck like this is absolutely, in my opinion, really necessary, or any kind of like really good strong draw.
that doesn't also ruin your extra deck that much, unlike Extravagance, because yes, it's a $50 card copy, which that's why I don't have it, but it is really, really good to just banish specific card out of your extra deck and dig deeper to what you need, and that's why Prosperity is absolutely mandatory, in my opinion, in this deck specifically. But like I said, I'm not going to waste $50 a copy for a Prosperity. I'm just going to wait for it to get another reprint. But a card that I do think is also really, really good to run in the deck, not mandatory, but still very, very good in this format, and honestly just an absolutely insane card since it's released, is 3 copies of Triple Tech Talents. Yeah, this card's a card. 3 banned effects on 1 card. Absolutely insane. When your opponent activates a monster effect during your turn, you are able to either draw 2 cards, shuffle a card from their hand back into the deck, or take control of their monster until the end of the turn, which is absolutely incredible and absolutely crazy, and that's why you want to run 3 of this as a board breaker. But that does it for the spells. For the traps, I'm running 3 copies of Imperm. This is just an excellent hand trap, which I run at 3. And then the card that I do run instead of Raid is 3 copies of Metaverse. Everybody in this meta is searching. Even if, you know, in the previous meta, they will summon from deck or things of that nature. In this meta, we do have a lot of decks that's searching, which that's why I felt like Metaverse is a little bit better than a Rage, because in normal metas that you do not have a lot of searching, or in metas that you don't have a lot of searchers, I will recommend to run the Raid because you don't really have any other choice. But this meta is a meta that there is a lot of searchers. Like, you know, Kashtira run a lot of searchers. For example, which is supposed to be the best deck. Ninja run a lot of searchers, which is an anti-meta deck. Like, you have a lot of decks that just running searches. I cannot like line them from the top of my head, but the point is that you search, I immediately activate this, and then activate the boss stage directly from the deck, which then will technically trigger the effect because this is a chain link 2. The search is a chain link 1. The boss stage will then be on the field. The resolve of the adding to the card to the hand will resolve, and then you just like activate the effect of boss stage because you were starting a new chain because of the fact that they added a card to their hand. So that is absolutely crazy, and I feel like Metaverse, because it's coming back to 3, is absolutely mandatory to play, especially in a meta like this. Maybe in future meta, like I said, you will return to Raid, but for now, this is what you need. But that does it for the main deck. Now we'll move on into the extra deck, and for the extra deck, we're going to start with the Generator Xyz monsters with 2 level 10 and 2 copies of, Jormungandr. Yes, I also run the 1 copy of Zeus, but that's for later. Apparently, I took the Zeus as well. But the point is, this lineup of 4 cards is absolutely mandatory to play in the deck. Level 10 is absolutely incredible. This card not only making your opponent monsters lose attack and defense, it just also allowing you to tribute this Xyz summon card to basically allowing you to special summon Jormungandr out of your extra deck, which is a non-fairy Generator Xyz monster, and then attach from cards from the field, including your opponent field, and each graveyard to the Jormungandr equal to the number of materials it has. So let's say it has 3 cards, and your opponent have like 3 monsters on field or 3 cards on the field. You tribute this as a quick effect, you take this out of your extra deck, and then you attach all 3 of those cards, which is not targeting, attached to this card, which is absolutely incredible. This card is absolutely insane. All the Fire Fairy monsters have been absolutely insane, and this one is just supposed to end that package, which is just really, really crazy. As for your Jormungandr itself, its effect is not really that important, but it could disrupt with the fact that you are able to make your opponent draw, and you draw a card, and then you attach a card from it, from your hand or field to it as a material. Your opponent, of course, have to choose which card they want to. You don't force them which cards to attach, but it's still very, very annoying sometimes and can just stop your opponent. But that does it for these, and then as I mentioned before, I also run the 1 copy of Zeus, the 1 copy of Earth Slicer, and the 1 copy of, Blasnir. You are running these lineup of Xyz monsters. You can cut one of these down if you find something else that is a little bit more useful, but I found these 3 Xyz monsters to be the ones that I need, especially Zeus. Maybe you want to cut the Earth Slicer for a second Zeus, but yeah, this lineup has been working perfectly for me as well. As for the fusions, which are supposed to be my Diviner of the Herald targets, we have the Choir, which is the level 7 in case I need Diviner to be a level 9 with a Vala or something of that nature. I just special summon, or should I say, like, trigger the effect of Diviner, send this to the graveyard, make it a 9, and then just special summon whatever I need. It also works really well with Monstrosity, which is really good, and Ents is supposed to be just good for popping your cards when you're going second. As for the lineup of synchros, Baron, as I mentioned before, for the option of Diviner of Herald, plus, tributing it with Hierarchy, and then summon the DD Sprite. Chine Ying is also good for that purpose as well, if you need it. And then, of course, we have the Punisher if we do make our special summon at level 9, and then we also have Diviner Herald, and we make this, and we just want to break boards. That's also just really good. And then for the links, 1 against Ibli, 1 copy of this because we can search multiple monstrosities. So if you activate a monstrosity and you summon this, you can just get another one. And then we have the 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier, or should I say Soldier of Chaos, because this card is just also absolutely incredible as a card. And we do run multiple level 5s or highers. So yeah, why not take advantage of this card as well? But that does it for the deck list itself and does it for the deck profile. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something new, but now let's move on into the end of the video. All right, so for the next deck list choices, basically, this is going to be a little bit of a different thing. I am going to kind of like present for you 4 choices, but it might going to take a little bit more time than you might think than usual because, like I said, I got married, there are a lot of things going in my life, so that's why I'm kind of like, going to take my times with things. But the 4 options that I'm going to present for you are Abyss Actors, are Speedroids, DDD, and Dark Worlds. I wanted to actually do a 4th Fiend deck just for the fun of it, but I couldn't think of a 4th Fiend deck that I kind of currently have on the top of my head. So I said, you know what, just Speedroids, and that's it. Yeah, those are the 4 options. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's change Speedroid to Unchained. Then there we go. We have 4 Fiend decks. DDD, Abyss Actors, Dark Worlds, and Unchained. Those are the 4 options for next week, so you get to choose from those. Hope you basically, choose the one that you want to. We'll see it, and like I said, I will try to do it as fast as possible. But that's pretty much does it for me. Like I said again, hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.